Real talk. Just another real talk video, and I'm gonna dive right into this video. I just got through rehearsing, and I was checking my emails here, and I must say, G man, your email hit home, man. You was looking at my old video about growing up in the hood and drugs and all of that stuff, and you was also saying in your email how there was a big drug bust, and once again another innocent man has been killed, which was your cousin, who had nothing to do with drugs, but just because he looked like somebody, he was killed. And this stuff happens all the time, man. It was an incident like this last week, if I'm not mistaken. And I always say this, bro. Freedom ain't even free. Seem like freedom ain't even free. And I know most people won't agree with me when I say that, and that's fine. And the reason I say that also because I always tell people the real peace is not going to come until the Prince of Peace return. And when you get in that glorified body and get into the new kingdom that John was speaking about in Revelation, until then, it's going to get worse and worse. People just don't want to accept the fact it's going to get worse. And drugs. Growing up in the hood, man, looked like every time I turned around, somebody was being murdered. Somebody was selling dope to their own mama. Somebody was being raped, so on and so on and so on. Drive-bys and all of these things that happen. Gangs and gang shootings. K-Ray, you know what I'm talking about. And I always look at this drug money and I say this. How many lawyers, judges, cops, how many of them have put their kids through college behind drug money? Now, everybody ain't crooked, but just think about that for a minute. How many of them people have put their kids through college because this money is going somewhere, and you notice you never hear about where this money is going. And it's a lot of people out here on these streets, man, selling dope and doing the street life. But I got a news flash for you. These streets, they got an expiration date on them. Yes, you're going to either get killed behind these streets, somebody going to snitch on you, you're going to get locked up, something's going to happen. It's nothing to play around with. And how much more time you going to waste? I always look at how crooked and backwards things are now. Just like when you're 13 or 14, you can't get a driver's license, but now you can be charged at the age of 14 as an adult when you commit a crime. This is the world we living in, people. And Tupac put it like this when it came to the poor. He said they got money for wars but can't feed the poor. They ain't doing nothing for the poor. They not. The rich getting richer and the poor is getting poor. You can't trust the government. You better look at what's going on. Look at these communities. Look at how big drugs is all over now. Drugs in these streets. And when it comes to drugs, it ain't no color. It ain't no color. People always talking about black crackheads. Black people ain't the only ones strong out on dope. They ain't the only ones selling dope. You got Mexicans, you got Dominicans, you got Colombians, so on and so on. It don't matter. It don't have no color. And I'm getting so sick of these cities. The city. The city don't even have respect for cops nowadays. You got good cops and you got crooked cops. You see what I'm saying? There are a lot of cops that's been killing people lately. But if you look on the news right now and catch the internet, it's a lot of people killing cops now. You don't know who to trust. I tell you every day, don't wait till a funeral to say this. You better look to the hills from where your help comes from, and your help comes from the Lord. Stop waiting at a funeral to say that we need the Lord now. Boy, if it's ever time we need the Lord, we've been needing the Lord. And people putting their trust in their jobs and in the government and all this other stuff, man, you better put your trust in the Lord. It was a drug bust not too long ago. It was a black man. I think he was about 31. He had braids. He had a backpack on. He just happened to be walking home at the time, and the cops started chasing him, so he took off running because he was scared. And when they said freeze, he put his hands up. And they thought he was reaching for a gun, so they shot him and killed him. And they thought he had drugs in his backpack. You know what he had in his backpack? Baby diapers and baby milk. He was just coming from the store to get some diapers and milk for his child. Now they done took another innocent life. Tell me something ain't wrong with this picture. Tell me what happened with this drug money. Who's getting it? You wonder why the poor are staying poor. Now I know it's always two sides, and the truth lies somewhere in the middle, because some people stay poor because they ignorant choices that they make. But everybody ain't on drugs. And some people really need to be helped. I knew this one cop. He stopped being a cop, and he was telling me how they was only paying $20,000 a year, and he said he couldn't risk his life no more on the streets for no $20,000 a year. And he said if something happened to him, his family only got $100,000 if he got killed. So tell me just off of that, it ain't some cops out here stealing money. No, see, people don't want to keep it real. He said he could no longer put his life on the line for something like that. And I failed him with that. But there's so many innocent people being killed. I'm not going to even talk about what goes on in L.A. and what's done happened so much in L.A. These drugs, this violence, man, there is no peace. That's why I say you never notice what happened to this dope money. But I know one thing for sure. This money ain't going to the rehab clinics. It showed ain't going to the poor. They're not giving this money to the poor people who really need help with their families. You got millions and millions and millions of dollars sitting in these so-called city access funds, whatever that is. Anybody know what that is? What is the city access funds? You got big-time city big shots getting this money and doing something with it. The school district is the same way. Remember back then they was using drug money to run through the church? I ain't gonna talk about the mafia. See, people don't like to hear stuff like this, I know. And then this is the sad thing, you got all these, not everybody, let me say this right, but you got a lot of preachers, they want to stand up and keep begging for money and rip folks off, and we got all of this stuff already going on in the world. Some of them used to be a pimp. So instead of pimping in the streets and running hoes, they start church pimping. I know the truth hurt. I just made some old preachers mad, but it's cool. Truth hurts. I'm not here to stand on here and tell lies. A lot of people done wasted their whole life on drugs, cocaine, heroin. Now you got cheese out now, crack, all of this stuff. And all my life growing up, I've been seeing this stuff, even to this day. This is why I try to reach out to people. But you never know who you are helping when you talk good in their life, when you speak good on them. You never know. I have seen so many people stick them needles in their arm. I have seen so many people get high. So many women couldn't leave prostitution alone. Just like overseas, you know, them young girls are being forced to become prostitutes. This is the crazy world we are living in. I'm just glad that I see people changing. Like I said, you never know who you are helping. This is why I try to tell people, man, you got to go outside of the church and go after the lost, the real lost. I'm not talking about these hypocrites sitting in church on Sunday morning. I'm talking about people who are really lost out here. I won't reveal this brother's name, but he know who he is because he look at my videos. He came to me about a year ago. He said, "Do you remember me?" He said, "I ain't on dope no more," and he looked good. Done changed. He said, "I ain't no longer living that lifestyle. I ain't on dope no more." He said, "But JT, it was something you said to me a while back that got my attention when you was telling me about the Lord who could deliver me." He said, "The words that you said, even though I was high at the time, I remember what you said." And he said, something dramatic happened in my life. But he said, "But I changed my life. God changed me." Let me say that right. And he said, "But it was something that you said to me." This is why you never know who's looking at you, who's watching you, and who you are helping. This is why you don't down the sinner. You embrace them. You do all you can to help them, because if we was to really get what we deserve, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you in this camera right here. You never look down on nobody. I don't care if it's a prostitute, a homosexual, a drunk. Don't look down on them. He said, "JT, your words stuck with me." He said, "When I needed something to eat, you gave it to me." And I'm not saying this for no hand clap. He said, "When I was hungry, you fed me. When I needed a shirt to wear, you gave it to me." In spite of how everybody else talked about me because I was strung out on dope. See, that's the real blessing right there when somebody give their life over to God. I knew how he was. I never looked down on him. You know why? Because it could have been me. It could have been me in his shoes. These streets ain't no joke. Have you ever seen somebody smoking dope? I'm talking about eye to eye. Have you ever smelled crack? Have you ever seen somebody sell dope to their own mama? Have you ever seen somebody grandma selling dope? Have you seen a whole family grow up selling dope? And nowadays, people getting killed over $1. People will kill you for nothing nowadays. This is how it was growing up where I was at. It wasn't all that good. Wasn't all that good. The things that we saw growing up and still see to this day. You ever wonder where all this where all this dope is coming from? I always tell people this. If you get a chance, look at that movie Denzel did called Training Day. I know a lot of people seen that. You see the outcome of Denzel on Training Day? Crooked cop. And you had Ethan Hawke trying to be the good cop. Yeah, this stuff really goes on. Matter of fact, look at American Gangster that Denzel did when he played Frank Lucas. That was a true story. Matter of fact, go back to New Jack City when Wesley Snipes played Nino Brown. That's real stuff. But you see the outcome of Nino Brown. Old dude shot him at the end. So when I talk about these things, I ain't just doing videos for fun, people. I hope this video can help somebody. If you live in that street life, think about it twice for that be the last time you get on the street. It might be the last time you sell that dope. Prostitution might be the last time you get in a car with somebody. It's a lot of prostitutes are being killed. And I'm not saying that to down a prostitute. I believe you can change whoever you are, but you can't do it on your own. You ain't got to shoot that hair run up your arm. See, I don't know who's looking at these videos because these videos is going all over. But I know one thing. I'm going to reach out as much as I can. Like I said, I'm not coming out of the Bible in this video, and I'm not going to make this video no longer. So with that being said, peace. And stay under the shadows of the Almighty. God bless you.